This is how I organize my sound library. Let me show y'all. Bam. So first and foremost, what I like doing is having all my go-to sounds, instead of having them as files in a file folder, just having to drag them out from the file folder. I like having them set out in my FL Studio window. So obviously on this left bar right here, we're just gonna call it the left side bar. I have no idea what it's actually called, but in this left side bar right here, I have all these sounds set out that I use. And I actually don't even use all of these sounds. I'll show you which sounds I use right now, but yeah, having all your sounds here on the left side of your screen saves so much time instead of having to open this window and then having to maybe like go to music or your downloads and maybe just dragging and dropping into your DAW. Yeah, it takes so much time instead of just having to like boom, bam, bop, and just like dragging something in. And now this one is so huge, and I actually found out myself, but it's to have your most used files, most used folders of sounds at the very top of this left side bar. And so what this can do is just, you won't have to look through here to see which file you want to use. If you know you want to use a file but you don't know where it's at, this just saves a lot of time. And it's something that I was so proud to realize, because you don't really know like that you're wasting time looking for something like this. Like when I realized it, I thought, oh, I could save some seconds. Those could turn into minutes. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you don't think of saving time with because you're just trying to find something. But yeah, if you could have your files that you use most often where you know where you're going to find them, which is in my instance, I like having them at the very top, this left side bar right here. It's only going to save time. So let's say like this thing, let's say copy, shout out copy, but let's say is Elements of Soul Kit. Let's say it's a K, so I'd find it somewhere right here, copy right here. But let's say I didn't know exactly where it was. I would have to spend seconds looking at this left side right here, scrolling down and finding it and then clicking it. But Lord knows how fast I'd find it. Maybe it'd be a couple more seconds. So like, to be as efficient and as productive as possible, every second matters. And so a huge bonus tip on that topic is, as you can see right here, I have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and so forth. These are just the file folders that I use literally like every time I open my DAW. Like I know I'm going to have to use these folders at least once when I open my DAW. So since they have names that aren't going to make them at the top of my little left side bar right here, I put those ones and 1, 1 just to make them at the very top, so I wouldn't have to again go looking down the left side bar for them. Huge time saver, huge hack. So I have that with all these that don't start with the letter B, because the drum sounds that I use are all from the BWB kit, and those are really near the top, so I don't have to worry about that being close to the top. But yeah, these ones that aren't close to the top, definitely recommend you guys just picking out the folder that you know you always go to the most, even if they're already loaded up in your DAW on the left side. I strongly recommend you folks just organize them by like the 1 and the 1, 1, 1, 1. It saves so much time instead of having to like look for them. So my third tip, which is so big as well, as you can see, all these drum sounds are from these BWB kits. Shout out BWB. I think this is the 9th kit that they have. Instead of having to click the BWB kit, BWB the Wave 9, cool. So we click that, and then we'll have to click BWB Wave Volume 9 again. Boom. And then we'll have all these things. So the one thing that's beneficial about this is you wouldn't have to waste that second or second takes to click this button, click it again. I know it would be almost little to no work, but still every second counts. So in this instance, those sounds that I know that I love using, I brought them outside just so I have those sound folders specifically on the left side bar themselves. So instead of having to do 1 click, 2 clicks, and then find the kick, all I have to do is just click this kicks folder right here. Boom. Very time efficient. If you're thinking it's only taking like 1 second off, 2 seconds off, but yeah, every little second counts. And I absolutely love it because I don't have to, again, if I were to have to look for the BWB kit and then have to click it once or twice to find the kicks, it's only going to save so much time if I know that it's going at the very top. And then I know there's just a kick folder that I have to open. Super time efficient. Strongly recommend you folks do that. And this is a little bonus tip for you folks, but in my templates, I love having just certain sounds and certain MIDIs laid out just to create inspiration off rip when I open my window, or just to go off those sounds and that MIDI just to create a project, starting off those sounds in MIDI. It really helps having sounds just laid out and having MIDI laid out. And in this instance, I already have these beats already prearranged and laid out like this, but when I open my DAW, I could just alter these MIDIs somehow, and I could just swap the sounds out, and that could be a whole drum loop in and of itself right there, and that could be the start of my beat that I make. But just having these sounds laid out and MIDI laid out, it definitely helps me just have a direction of where I'm going in the beat making process. Just having my go-to sounds that I love the most. But yeah, having those go-to sounds and MIDI laid out on my channel rack, boom, so I can just switch, boom, bam, bop. And so if I do love a sound, I can just open the DAW, press play, and if I do love a sound with one of the sounds, I can go ahead and use that and just build off of it, and then boom, save time having to find a sound at all. Very cool. A little bonus tip, it's just saving time here and there, having go-to sounds in your channel rack already laid out with some MIDI that you kind of love, you know? Maybe you found a MIDI that works really well. But yeah, just another thing to save time and maybe even not have to find a different sound at all if you like one of the sounds that are loaded up. So yeah, if you folks follow these 4 tips, I guarantee folks' workflow will feel faster. I know it's gonna be faster. But yeah, if you have all these sounds, your go-to sounds on the left side of the screen in FL Studio, instead of just having them on the File Explorer and having to drag them from the File Explorer, and having your go-to sounds labeled, it's like the ones, the 11111, you know that is huge. You know, instead of having to like look for the sound file folder on the left side of your screen, you know, it might only take like a second or two, but every second matters. Having those files on the left side of your screen labeled with like the 1 and then the 11, like how I did it, yeah, it just saves so much time knowing that those sounds are right there. You know they're on the very top. You don't have to look anywhere else, you just know they're on the very top. You save that time trying to find it. As well as with the drum sounds themselves, those drum file folders themselves, having those out just like a kick folder itself on the left side of your screen, instead of having like a murder beats and then having that like murder beats thing again. I don't know, that's just how most packs that I've found. And there's usually like just a second layer of like title name of the pack that you have to click again, and then you have to click like the kick folder, so you can just bypass all those extra clicks and then just have like folder itself on the left side of the screen. And then sometimes what you can do to just bypass the whole sound finding process is you can just have like preset sounds in your DAW already laid out, just to spark some inspiration and maybe even like a sound with this MIDI going on. And so you just leave that sound in there and you save some time trying to find the sound and just take inspiration off that. So I hope you guys found something valuable in this video. If you learned something new, hope you can give a minute and save some second workflow process. Really hope so. Like button, visit the subscribe button. Posting videos like this pretty often. Appreciate y'all rocking me in this video again. We'll see you on the next one. Deuces.